It was a cold and rainy night in the busy city. The rain poured down hard, hitting the streets like small drums. People rushed by, holding umbrellas or hiding under shop roofs. The city was alive with noise, but in one small corner, a different story was happening. Aisha, a young pregnant woman, stood under a small plastic sheet that barely covered her. She was a food vendor, selling simple snacks to people who walked by. But tonight, the rain made everything difficult. Her clothes were wet, her feet cold, and her stomach heavy with the baby growing inside her. She looked tired. Her face was pale and dark circles showed under her eyes. She'd been working all day, but she still had to sell food to earn enough money for herself and her unborn child. People passed her by without looking. Some even stepped around her as if she was not there. "Move away! You're blocking the way!" a man said sharply, pushing past her without any kindness. Aisha said nothing. She only lowered her head and held her small food basket tighter. She wanted to cry but did not have the strength. She was scared too. She did not know where she would sleep tonight. The rain soaked her and the cold wind made her shiver. Still, she tried to smile at the few people who looked at her. Some gave her coins. Others just ignored her. Suddenly, the sound of a car engine broke the noise of the rain. A black luxury car stopped nearby. The rain made its shiny surface glisten under the streetlights. From inside, a man stepped out slowly. He was tall and wore a long coat. His hair was gray at the sides, and his face was calm but serious. This man was Mr. Grant. He was one of the richest men in the city, a billionaire. Everyone knew his name, but no one knew much about him. He lived alone in a huge mansion on the hill, surrounded by expensive things and quiet walls. Tonight, he was not in his mansion. Instead, he was standing near the wet street looking at Aisha. Aisha did not notice him at first. She was busy trying to keep her food dry and stop her teeth from chattering. But then she felt a shadow. When she looked up, she saw the man watching her. His eyes were kind but serious. For a moment, Aisha felt scared. Who was he? Why was he looking at her? The man took a few steps closer. His boots made soft sounds on the wet ground. He spoke softly, but with a strong voice. "Are you all right?" he asked. Aisha was surprised. No one had ever asked her that before, especially not a rich man like him. She nodded slowly. "I am fine," she said quietly. The man did not look convinced. He looked around and then back at her. "You should not be standing here in this rain. It is dangerous, especially for a woman with a baby." Aisha swallowed hard. She wanted to explain, but her voice was weak. "I need to work," she said. "I have no other place to go." Mr. Grant looked at her carefully. He saw the tiredness in her eyes, the pain in her body. He knew she was telling the truth. She was not there by choice. She was there because she had no other option. Without another word, Mr. Grant opened his car door. "Come with me," he said gently. "I have a warm place. You can rest." Aisha looked at the car and then back at the street. She did not trust him, but the cold and rain were worse. She took a deep breath and nodded. She put her small basket in her hand and walked toward the car. As she got inside, she looked back at the street once. The rain was still falling hard, but for the first time that day she felt a small spark of hope. Mr. Grant did not speak on the way to his mansion. The car moved smoothly through the wet streets. Aisha watched the city lights pass by, her mind full of questions. Why was this man helping her? What did he want? When they arrived at the mansion, Aisha could not believe her eyes. The building was huge, with bright lights and clean walls. The garden had flowers and the driveway was wide and empty. It was so different from the dirty street she had just left. Mr. Grant opened the door and helped her out of the car. "Come inside," he said. "You need to get warm and dry." Inside, the mansion was warm and quiet. Soft lights shone on expensive furniture and big paintings. Aisha felt small and nervous. She had never been in a place like this before. She hoped no one would ask too many questions. Mr. Grant showed her a room with clean blankets and a soft bed. "Rest here," he said. "I will send someone to bring you food and help." Aisha sat on the bed, still feeling strange. She looked at the window and saw the rain falling outside. She thought about her baby and her life. Maybe, just maybe, this night was the start of something new. Before leaving, Mr. Grant turned back to her and said quietly, "You will see me again. Soon." His words made Aisha curious and a little afraid. What did he mean? Why would she see him again? The night outside was still dark and rainy, but inside the mansion a new story was beginning. A story that would change both their lives forever. The next morning, sunlight tried to peek through the thick clouds, but the city streets were still wet and cold. Aisha woke up feeling confused but safe. The soft blankets and warm room were a big change from the cold street where she had spent many nights. She sat on the edge of the bed and touched her growing belly. Her heart was heavy with worry. How would she take care of this baby? How would she live after everything she had been through? But for now, she was thankful for this quiet moment. There was a soft knock on the door. A young woman entered with a tray of food and a gentle smile. "Good morning, Aisha," she said. "My name is Anna. Mr. Grant asked me to bring you breakfast and see if you need anything." Aisha smiled weakly. "Thank you," she said softly, still unsure about everything. Anna stayed for a while, helping Aisha wash and change into fresh clothes. She spoke kindly, making Aisha feel less alone. For the first time in a long time, Aisha felt cared for. After breakfast, Aisha looked out the large window. The rain had stopped and the city was waking up again. Birds sang and people hurried by on the streets below. But inside the mansion, everything was quiet and still. Suddenly, the door opened. Mr. Grant walked in, wearing a calm but serious face. Aisha stood up quickly, nervous about what he might say next. "Good morning," he said. "I hope you are feeling better." Aisha nodded. "Yes, thank you. I don't know how to say thanks for what you did last night." Mr. Grant smiled softly. "You don't have to thank me, but I want to help you more." Aisha's eyes widened. "Help me? How?" He walked over to a large chair and sat down. "I own many companies, but what I want most is to make a difference in people's lives. You are a strong woman, Aisha, and I see that." She looked down, unsure what to say. She had never met a man like him before. His words felt strange but kind. "I want to offer you a job," he continued. "Not just any job, but a real chance. You will work with me. You can leave the streets behind." Aisha's heart raced. Was this real? Could her life really change so quickly? But fear stayed with her. "I don't know if I can do that. I have no experience and I am just a food vendor." Mr. Grant shook his head. "Experience is not everything. You have courage, and that means more than a fancy resume. Come to the office tomorrow. I will introduce you to my team." Aisha looked at him, the weight of her worries mixing with hope. She wanted to believe him, but what if it was just another dream? Before she could say more, the phone in the room rang. Mr. Grant answered it quickly. After a few moments, he looked at Aisha with a serious expression. "There is something important I need to tell you," he said, "but not now. Later." He paused, then smiled gently. "For now, rest. You need to be strong for what is coming." Aisha sat back down, her mind full of questions. Who was this man really? Why was he helping her? And what did he mean by, "What is coming?" Outside, the city was alive with noise and rain puddles reflecting the morning light. But inside the mansion, a quiet plan was growing. One that would change everything for Aisha and the mysterious billionaire. She didn't know it yet, but her life was about to turn in a way she never expected. The next day, Aisha woke up early. Her heart was full of nervous excitement. She didn't know what to expect at Mr. Grant's office, but she was ready to try. She dressed carefully in the clothes Anna had helped her pick out. They were simple but clean and fresh. She took a deep breath and left the mansion, stepping out into the busy city. The building where Mr. Grant worked was tall and shiny. The glass windows reflected the bright sky, and people hurried inside and outside like busy ants. Aisha felt small and unsure. But she kept walking. At the entrance, a friendly receptionist smiled and greeted her. "Welcome, Aisha. Mr. Grant is expecting you." Aisha's heart beat faster. She followed the receptionist through long hallways and into a large office. There, Mr. Grant was waiting, standing tall and confident. "Good morning," he said kindly. "Let me introduce you to the team." One by one, people came forward to shake Aisha's hand. They wore suits and looked serious, but their smiles were warm. Aisha felt a little better. Maybe this was not so scary after all. Mr. Grant explained, "We want to help you learn new skills. You will start with simple tasks, but soon you will have more responsibilities. We believe in giving chances to those who work hard." Aisha nodded, trying to keep her nerves hidden. She remembered the hard days on the street and the cold rain. She wanted to prove she could do this. Days turned into weeks. Aisha worked hard. She learned quickly and made friends with some of the people in the office. They admired her kindness and determination, but not everyone was happy. A few workers whispered behind her back, jealous of the attention she received. Some thought she didn't belong in such a place. One day, Aisha overheard a conversation. "Who does she think she is?" "Just a poor vendor," one said quietly. Aisha felt a sting in her heart but kept working. She knew this was her chance to change her life and the baby's future. Then, one afternoon, Mr. Grant called her into his office. "I see your hard work," he said, "but there is more I want to tell you, something important about your future." Aisha's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Mr. Grant smiled, but his eyes were serious. "Come with me. I want you to meet someone." He led her down the hall and into a quiet room. There, sitting calmly, was a woman with gentle eyes and a kind smile. "This is your sister, Miriam," Mr. Grant said softly. Aisha stared in shock. She had never known she had a sister. Miriam stood and hugged Aisha tightly. "I have been looking for you," she whispered. Tears filled Aisha's eyes. She didn't know what to say. Her world was changing faster than she ever imagined. As the sun set outside, Aisha felt hope grow inside her. Maybe this new family and new job were the start of something good. But secrets were waiting to be uncovered. Secrets that would test her strength and courage. The next morning, Aisha woke up with a mix of hope and fear. She kept thinking about Miriam, her long-lost sister. How could this be true? So many questions filled her mind. She arrived early at the office, but Mr. Grant wasn't there yet. Instead, Miriam was waiting for her. Miriam smiled warmly and said, "I know this is a lot to take in, but you are not alone anymore. We want to help you and your baby." Aisha nodded, feeling a little comforted. Later that day, Mr. Grant invited Aisha and Miriam to his private study. The room was full of old books, photos, and papers. Mr. Grant sat behind a big wooden desk and looked serious. "There is something you both should know," he said. "Our family has a complicated past. You and Miriam are daughters of my old friend and business partner, Mr. Karim." Aisha's eyes widened. "My father?" she asked, voice trembling. Mr. Grant nodded. "Yes, but years ago your father disappeared under strange circumstances. We have been trying to find him ever since." Miriam's face grew sad. "I tried to search for him too, but it was difficult. There were secrets I didn't understand." Aisha felt tears well up. She never imagined her life was connected to such mystery. Mr. Grant leaned forward. "That's why I brought you here. Your father left part of his company to you and Miriam, but you need to work together to claim it." Aisha felt a rush of emotions, shock, fear, and hope all mixed together. Could she manage this? Could she protect her baby and this new family? The next days were filled with meetings and paperwork. Aisha learned about the company's struggles and enemies who wanted to take it over. One night she received a strange phone call. A low voice whispered, "Stay away from the company or you will regret it." Aisha's heart pounded. Danger was closer than she thought. She shared the threat with Mr. Grant and Miriam. They promised to protect her, but Aisha knew she had to be strong. As the story moved forward, Aisha's life changed fast. From a poor food vendor on a cold street to a woman fighting for her family's legacy, she faced challenges she never imagined. Would she survive the threats? Would she find her missing father? And how would her baby's future change forever? The answers were hidden in the days ahead, full of suspense and hope. Days passed, but the warning on the phone haunted Aisha's mind. She could feel eyes watching her everywhere, at the office, on the street, even in her small apartment. The city suddenly seemed colder and darker. One afternoon, as she left the office, a black car slowly followed her. Her heart raced. She hurried her steps but kept looking back. The car stayed close, fear gripped her. When she reached her apartment, she ran inside and locked the door tightly. She called Miriam and Mr. Grant immediately. "We have to be careful," Mr. Grant said seriously. "There are people who don't want you to claim your father's company. They will try anything." Miriam added, "We will stay by your side. You're not alone anymore." Aisha felt a little better but knew the danger was real. The next day, mysterious letters arrived. Threats written in shaky handwriting, warning her to stop digging into the company's secrets. At work, some colleagues started acting strange, whispering behind her back or avoiding her gaze. One evening, while working late, Aisha found her office window open. A cold wind blew papers around. Her heart jumped. Someone had been there. She called security, but the guards found nothing. Aisha began to wonder, who were these people? How far would they go? She also worried about her baby. Is it safe for me to fight this battle? She asked herself quietly. But giving up was not an option. She remembered the promise she made to protect her child and honor her father's legacy. One night, Mr. Grant invited her and Miriam to a secret meeting with a trusted friend, a lawyer who knew everything about the company's enemies. The lawyer revealed shocking news. Some of your father's old partners betrayed him and want to take full control of the company. They have power and money, but they don't have your courage. Aisha clenched her fists. She was ready to fight no matter the cost. That night, she stood by the window, looking out at the city lights. The battle had just begun, but her heart was strong. Would she find a way to protect her family? Would the truth about her father come to light? The suspense was thick, and the future uncertain. The pressure on Aisha grew every day. Threats, strange looks, and mysterious warnings were everywhere. But she stayed strong for her baby and for the future. One rainy evening, as she left the office, a man stepped out from the shadows. He looked calm and confident. "Ms. Aisha, I'm here to help," he said quietly. Aisha was surprised and cautious. "Who are you?" she asked. "My name is Daniel. I worked with your father years ago. I know the dangers you face." Daniel explained that he had proof of the betrayal, hidden documents, and secret deals that could save the company. Aisha's hope grew. Finally, she had someone she could trust. Together, they planned to expose the traitors. Daniel gave her a USB drive with the evidence, but their plan was risky. If the enemies found out, Aisha would be in grave danger. A few days later, Aisha and Daniel met with Mr. Grant and Miriam. They studied the evidence carefully. "This is what we need," Mr. Grant said. "With this, we can fight back." The next step was to take the proof to the police and media. But Aisha still worried. Could she handle the spotlight? Could she protect her baby? One night, as she prepared the documents, she heard a noise outside her door. Someone was trying to break in. Heart pounding, she quickly hid the USB drive and called security. The intruder fled, but the danger was closer than ever. Aisha realized she had to act fast. With Daniel's help, she arranged a press conference to reveal the truth. The day arrived and cameras flashed. Aisha stood tall, ready to share her story. Would the world believe her? Would justice be served? The future was uncertain, but Aisha was ready to fight for it. For her family, her baby, and her father's legacy. The day of the press conference was filled with tension. Aisha stood in front of many cameras and reporters. Her heart beat fast, but she kept her voice steady. She told everyone about her father's company, the betrayal by his partners, and the evidence they had. She shared how she had fought to protect her family's legacy and her unborn child. The room was silent for a moment. Then questions came pouring in. Some people were shocked, others were angry. But many believed her story. After the conference, Aisha received messages of support from strangers and old friends of her father. She felt hope for the first time in a long while. But the battle was not over. The betrayers tried to fight back, in court and business meetings. Yet, with the truth and public support, Aisha stood strong. Mr. Grant stayed by her side, guiding her through the difficult moments. Mariam was always there, encouraging her. As the weeks passed, the company slowly started to change. The loyal workers returned. The trust in the business grew again. Aisha's baby was born healthy and strong. Holding her child, she felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. She knew her father would be proud. From the cold streets to the mansion halls, Aisha had changed her life and the company's future. The story of a struggling pregnant vendor had become a tale of courage, hope, and new beginnings. And as she looked toward the future, Aisha smiled, ready for whatever came next.